How to never get angry or bothered by anything or anyone again. Picture this scenario. You're walking into work on a Monday morning, feeling pretty good about yourself, when suddenly your colleague makes a snide comment about your weekend choices. Your chest tightens, heat rises to your face. That familiar surge of anger starts building up inside you. But what if I told you there's a way to become completely immune to these emotional attacks? What if you could walk through life as someone who never gets triggered, never loses their cool, and never hands over their power to anyone else? Today, we're diving deep into the ancient art of emotional invincibility. I'm talking about strategies so powerful that the greatest minds in history used them to remain unshakable in the face of persecution, betrayal, and public humiliation. By the end of this journey together, you'll have the mental armor to deflect any emotional attack and maintain your inner peace no matter what chaos surrounds you. The truth is, most people are walking around as emotional slaves. They react to every comment, get triggered by every slight, and spend their days bouncing between anger and frustration, like pinballs in a machine they can't control. But there's another way to live, and it starts with understanding something profound about human psychology. Every time you get angry at someone else's words or actions, you're essentially giving them remote control access to your emotional state. If that idea just landed for you, take a second and like this video. It helps this message reach people who need control over their emotions just as much as you do. Now let's go deeper. Think about that for a moment. You're literally allowing another person to dictate how you feel, how you think, and how you behave. That person who cut you off in traffic, they now control whether you have a good day or a bad day. That coworker who made the sarcastic comment, they're now the director of your mood. But here's what the ancient masters understood that modern society has forgotten. Your emotional reactions are not automatic responses to external events. They are choices, and like any choice, they can be trained, refined, and ultimately mastered. The first breakthrough comes when you realize that other people's behavior toward you has absolutely nothing to do with you. I know this sounds counterintuitive, especially when someone is literally pointing at you and saying something offensive. But follow me on this logic train. When someone lashes out, makes cruel comments, or tries to tear you down, they're revealing something about their internal state, not making an accurate assessment of your worth. Imagine a person walking around with a broken leg. Every step they take causes them pain. Now imagine this person accidentally bumps into you and then screams at you for being in their way. Are they really angry at you? Or are they angry at their pain and looking for somewhere to direct that anger? The vast majority of negative behavior you encounter is people bumping into you with their emotional broken legs. This understanding becomes your first line of defense. When someone tries to provoke you, instead of taking it personally, you can observe it clinically. You can think to yourself, this person is clearly struggling with something internally, and they're trying to make it my problem. Once you see it this way, their words lose their power to hurt you. But recognition is just the beginning. The real transformation happens when you train your mind to operate from a position of choice rather than reaction. This means developing what I call the pause protocol. Between every stimulus and your response, there's a gap. Most people live their entire lives unaware that this gap exists. They think the stimulus and the response are the same thing. Someone says something offensive, and they immediately feel angry, but that's not how it actually works. The stimulus happens. Then there's a microsecond where your brain is processing what just occurred. Then you choose your response. The key to emotional mastery is expanding that microsecond into a moment of conscious choice. You start to catch yourself in that gap and ask, how do I want to respond to this, instead of just reacting automatically? This is where daily mental training becomes crucial. Just like you can't expect to run a marathon without training your body, you can't expect to remain calm under pressure without training your mind. Every single day, you need to practice expanding that gap between stimulus and response. One of the most powerful exercises you can do is mental rehearsal. Before you start your day, take 5 minutes to imagine potential scenarios where someone might try to push your buttons. Visualize your coworker making that passive-aggressive comment. See yourself remaining completely calm and choosing your response consciously. Picture someone cutting you off in traffic and watch yourself in your mind staying relaxed and unbothered. This mental rehearsal isn't about preparing for battle. It's about programming your subconscious mind with new response patterns. If you want this distilled into a simple one-page summary with a clear daily action plan, you can get it for free. Text the word CALM to 325-378-6868 and I'll send you a practical guide to start building emotional invincibility immediately. When these situations actually occur, your brain will have a template for how to respond calmly instead of just falling back on old reactive patterns. The second major component of emotional invincibility is understanding the circle of control versus the circle of concern. Your circle of concern includes everything you care about but can't directly influence. Other people's opinions, the weather, traffic, what happened in the past, what might happen in the future. Your circle of control includes only the things you can directly influence influence right now: your thoughts, your actions, your responses, and your choices. Most people spend 90% of their mental energy focused on their circle of concern and only 10% on their circle of control. This creates a constant state of frustration because they're trying to control things that are fundamentally uncontrollable. The path to emotional freedom is reversing this ratio. You focus 90% of your attention on what you can control and only 10% on what you can't. When someone tries to upset you, immediately ask yourself, is this in my circle of control? If it's not, you consciously redirect your attention to something that is. You can't control what they said, but you can control how you interpret it. You can't control their mood, but you can control your response to their mood. This shift in focus is incredibly liberating. Instead of wasting energy trying to change other people or situations beyond your influence, you channel all that energy into becoming the person you want to be, regardless of external circumstances. The third pillar of emotional mastery is developing what I call strategic indifference. This doesn't mean becoming cold or uncaring. It means becoming selective about what you allow to affect you emotionally. When you respond with emotional intensity to every little provocation, you're essentially teaching people that they can manipulate you easily. But when you respond with calm indifference to attempts at provocation, you remove their incentive to continue. Think about it from the provocateur's perspective. If they insult you and you get visibly angry, they've accomplished their goal. They've successfully transferred their negative emotions to you. But if they insult you and you simply shrug and move on with your day, they're left holding their own negativity with nowhere to dump it. This is why strategic indifference is so powerful. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't care about anything. It's about consciously choosing which battles deserve your emotional investment. Most provocations are simply not worth your peace of mind. The fourth element involves reframing challenging interactions as opportunities for growth. Every time someone tries to push your buttons, they're actually giving you a free training session in emotional mastery. Instead of seeing these moments as attacks to defend against, you can see them as practice rounds for strengthening your mental discipline. This reframe is psychologically powerful because it puts you back in the driver's seat. Instead of being a victim of someone else's negativity, you become a student, using every interaction to develop greater emotional intelligence and self-control. You start to almost appreciate difficult people because they're providing you with advanced training that calm, pleasant people can't offer. Building emotional resilience also requires daily practices that strengthen your mental foundation. This includes meditation, which trains your ability to observe your thoughts without being controlled by them. When you can watch your anger arise without immediately acting on it, you've developed the fundamental skill of emotional choice. Journaling is another crucial practice. Each evening, reflect on moments throughout the day when you felt triggered or emotionally reactive. Write down what happened, how you responded, and how you could have responded differently. This kind of self-reflection accelerates your emotional development because you're actively learning from every experience instead of just repeating the same patterns. Physical exercise plays a surprising role in emotional mastery as well. When your body is strong and healthy, your mind is more resilient to emotional shocks. Regular exercise also provides a healthy outlet for processing stress and frustration, preventing these emotions from building up and eventually exploding. The fifth component is developing a long-term perspective on temporary emotions. Anger, frustration, and irritation are temporary emotional states. They arise, peak, and then naturally fade away if you don't feed them with your attention. Most people make the mistake of trying to solve or fix their negative emotions immediately, which often just amplifies them. Instead, you can learn to surf these emotional waves. When anger arises, you acknowledge it without judgment. Observe how it feels in your body, and then watch it naturally dissolve as you return your attention to more productive thoughts and activities. This approach removes the resistance that often makes negative emotions persist longer than they naturally would. Developing emotional mastery also means learning to distinguish between your authentic feelings and your conditioned reactions. Many of our emotional responses are learned behaviors from childhood or cultural programming, rather than genuine responses to current situations. When someone disrespects you, for example, your anger might be more about past experiences of feeling powerless than about the actual present moment. By developing greater self-awareness, you can start to separate authentic emotions that deserve your attention from programmed reactions that no longer serve you. This allows you to respond to situations based on current reality rather than past conditioning. The sixth principle involves understanding that your peace of mind is worth more than winning any argument or proving any point. When someone tries to provoke you into an emotional reaction, they're essentially offering you a trade. They're saying, give me your peace of mind, and I'll give you the satisfaction of proving you're right or getting revenge. This is always a bad trade. Your peace of mind is your most valuable psychological asset. Once you lose it, you've lost your ability to think clearly, make good decisions, and enjoy your life. No temporary satisfaction from winning an argument or getting back at someone is worth sacrificing your mental equilibrium. Finally, remember that emotional mastery is not about becoming emotionless or disconnected from life. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent and selective. You still feel joy, love, excitement, and passion. You're just no longer at the mercy of other people's moods, opinions, and behaviors. True strength isn't about how hard you can hit back when someone attacks you. It's about remaining centered and peaceful, regardless of what chaos surrounds you. When you master this skill, you become genuinely powerful in a way that can't be taken away from you. Here's your challenge for the next 7 days. Every time someone does something that would normally trigger an emotional reaction, pause for 3 seconds before responding. Use those 3 seconds to ask yourself, how do I want to handle this? And then choose your response consciously instead of reacting automatically. Pay attention to how this small shift changes your daily experience. Notice how much more in control you feel when you're responding from choice rather than reaction. Watch how differently people treat you when you're no longer emotionally reactive to their provocations. The path to emotional invincibility isn't about changing other people or controlling external circumstances. It's about mastering yourself so completely that nothing external can disturb your inner peace. When you achieve this level of emotional maturity, you'll find that life becomes infinitely more enjoyable because you're no longer spending your energy on battles that don't matter. Remember, every master was once a beginner. Every expert was once a disaster. The only difference between someone who masters their emotions and someone who remains reactive their entire life is consistent daily practice. Start today, stay consistent, and watch as you develop the unshakable inner strength that transforms not just how you handle conflict, but how you experience every moment of your life.